Okay, listen, we can't say too much yet, but Amanda and I have been secretly renovating the entire Brave New Teaching world behind the scenes.
We are taking our entire podcast, our shop, our workshops, combining them into one massive university. It's going to change how you plan your entire year.
It really is, but we need help testing the new platform.
So if you want a sneak peek and the lowest price that it will ever exist, get on our beta waitlist right now at bravenewteaching.com/waitlist.
Seriously, you guys, go now. bravenewteaching.com/waitlist. Let's go.
Well, hello, and welcome back to another team meeting episode of Brave New Teaching. I'm Amanda. You are here with your planner, with your notebook, and we are going to sit down and plan out the end of the year right now. We're going to make sure that all the most important things and bases are covered. We are going to make sure that you feel confident moving forward. And I'm also going to drop in a couple of other fun little tips along the way, two kind of exciting little updates, one from Canva and one from some authors that we love. I've got a couple of really interesting and exciting things to share about them. So if you are here, I recommend that you have your planner handy, your highlighters, your pens, your pencils, whatever you like to plan with, and maybe a colleague or two. Close the door, push play, and let's knock this out together. Ready? Cue the music. You're listening to Brave New Teaching, and we are so much more than a podcast.
We give teachers the inspiration, support, and tools to challenge the status quo.
I'm Amanda, and I'm a former English teacher from Illinois.
And I'm Marie, and I'm a high school teacher from Southern California.
Join us after the show and happy hour to extend your BNT experience with instant access to our resources, workshops, and courses.
Visit shop.bravenewteaching.com/happy hour to join us today. We're so glad you're here. Enjoy the show.
All right, before we hop into end of the year stuff, let's talk about something really big on Canva, like really big. If you are on the internet, which I know most of you are, one of my librarian friends, she posted this, and I'm pretty sure it went viral. If you haven't seen it, Melanie, I think her name Melanie in the library, she's a sweetheart. She's so creative and clever. I think she stumbled on it accidentally, and I didn't even know that this was possible. Did you know that you can print from Canva directly? And what I mean is you don't have to click the upper right-hand button to download whatever it is as an image or a PDF. You can just hit Control P. Yes, it is possible. I will tag Melanie's Instagram. If I can, I'll also throw the link to her reel in the show notes. But you can hit Control P and print directly from Canva. It's a game changer. I can't stand all of the downloading and naming and all the stuff that I usually am like just printing one-off quick things. Big deal. Okay, episode over. Just kidding. I mean, I know this is a big deal, so I wanted to make sure that you knew it first. A couple of other big deals. We have two very favorite authors of ours that we have had on the show before. One is our darling friend, Ruta Sepetys, and our other friend, TJ Klune. Both Ruta and TJ, like I said, are friends of the podcast. We've interviewed them before. They both have brand new books coming out. And I am so on the edge of my seat to get my hands on both. So let's talk about TJ Klune's book first. I don't know if this is going to be a school appropriate book. His books absolutely go from House in the Cerulean Sea. I wish every single classroom could teach this novel. It's definitely teachable. I don't see a lot of people doing it yet, but Cerulean Sea is lights out, one of my favorites of all time. But then there are a couple others of his that I adore, but they are not appropriate for school. So this one, I don't know yet because I haven't read it. It's not in my hands yet. This novel is called We Burned So Bright. And We Burned So Bright is coming out at the very end of April. And here's a quick little peek at We Burned So Bright. The road stretched out before them. No other cars, just the headlights on the blacktop. Above, the cracked moon in a kaleidoscope sky. Husbands Don and Rodney have lived a good, long life. Together, they've experienced the highest highs and love of family and lows so low that they felt like the end of the world. Now the world is ending for real. A rogue black hole is coming for Earth, and in a month, everything and everyone they've ever known will be gone. Suddenly, after 40 years together, Don and Rodney are out of time. They're in a race against the clock to make it from Maine to Washington state to take care of some unfinished business before it's all over. On the road, they meet those who refuse to believe death is coming and those who rush to meet it. But there are also people living their final days as best as they know how. Impromptu weddings, bright burning bonfires, shared meals, and new friends. And as the black hole draws near, among ball lightning and under a cracked moon in a kaleidoscope sky, Don and Rodney will look back on their lives and ask if their best was enough. Is it enough to burn bright if nothing comes from the ashes? So, I mean, when we talked to TJ Klune during Camp BNT last summer, he warned us that it would be emotional damage. So, yeah, I would prepare yourself. Tuesday, April 28th, that is dropping. So you might be listening to this episode after that. So in that case, go get it. If you're listening to it before, get it on your holds list on Libby. Get it I have mine pre-ordered at my independent bookstore, The Little Bean, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it. And as for our buddy Ruta Sepetys, both of these authors just keep churning out books, and I'm so grateful for them because I can't get enough. We have a new one from Ruta called A Fortune of Sand. And this one's coming out in May. So we've got a little bit more time, May 26th. And here is the premise of Ruta's new book. The daughter of a powerful tycoon escapes to a glamorous artist's retreat where dark secrets and dangerous temptations await. In this gripping Prohibition-era novel from, of course, our #1 New York Times bestselling author, Ruta Sepetys. So here's the premise. Detroit, 1972. A city of smoke and ambition where glittering wealth conceals a graveyard of secrets. Marjorie Lennox is the youngest daughter of a powerful Detroit dynasty, a family rich in money and poor in charm. Creative, reckless, and never quite what they wanted, Marjorie has spent her life overlooked by her controlling father and self-absorbed siblings. But when she secretly applies to an elite arts program backed by a mysterious patron, she grabs the chance to finally step out of her family's shadow. So absolutely recommend it, only because I know I love Ruta. So I'm dying to read this over the summer and get Ruta back on the podcast so we can talk about it, because this is a whole new time frame for her, a new part of the world for her. And I mean, Ruta in Detroit is kind of throwing me. She's had only out of the easy that's set in the United States. So I'm really excited to read this one. And we're so proud of both of TJ and Ruta. Congratulations to both of you on your next new release. Okay, so let's talk end of the year planning. So we've got our calendars. We've obviously marked down that we have some books to put on hold. That's for sure. Let's talk end of the year. Here are a couple things that we need to do. #1, we're going to do our basic planning calendar protocol things. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you should be over in Brave New Teaching University. At the 100 level, we've got some of the basic tools. At the 200 level, we have a lot more advanced tools available to you. And if you're looking in there right now, we would be in the section of systems and design. So systems and design department 102 is really where you're going to get most of the planning documents. In 102, you will see that we have links to all of the episodes we've ever done about backwards planning. All of the links are there, especially for the mini backwards planning challenge that we did about a couple years ago. That is all there for you. Everything you need to listen to that will get you through all of the planning that you need to do for being a good backwards planner. But for those of you who want to take it to the next level, I would highly recommend joining us in BNT University at the 200 level, which is our sophomore level. This is a monthly membership. And as part of that, right, is access to everything in this level, including 202. So Systems and Design 202 is going to take you through our Trello boards, our Google Calendar templates, all of the actual digital tools that we use to keep ourselves organized. That is where you would want to be. So for end of the year, we're going to do a lot of the same things that we talk about with backwards design, but this is very concentrated, and it's really important that we get it right. So first things first, we want to look at our actual number of days. Right? We want to work in real days and not hypotheticals. Work on your calendar right now to determine how many actual classes you have left. So if it helps you to separate Any testing days, if you do have final exams, those don't count. Those are not instructional days. Those are your assessment days. So figure out actual numbers, what you're working with. If you don't know what you're working with, we can't really plan. So first, we're going to do that. The next thing we're going to do is make a list of your musts, right? What must happen instructionally? What must happen in terms of assessments on those days? Your non-negotiables, right? You must assign this project. You must collect this certain thing. You must make room for 4 days worth of presentations, right? Like, what are those non-negotiables? Get those on your calendar next. Okay. I'm assuming that you're going to be pausing me in between each of these because this is going to go kind of fast. The next list you're going to make are your wants, right? You have your musts. Now, what are your wants? Last week, we talked about briefly the importance of ceremony and the end of the year. For me, that a lot of that comes down to the way I design like the last 25 days of school. So one of my traditions that I really love and I love sharing with other teachers is doing an end of the year countdown. I do this also to winter break. So the countdown that's my favorite, I have two, so it's kind of hard. One countdown that I love is counting down last lines from movies and TV. So I gather together a list of the last sentence of really famous books, movies, and shows. And every day until the end of the year, we read one of them. We reflect on it. We might look at any of the literary techniques that are being used. We might even watch a scene if it's a famous film that they've never seen, like Casablanca, maybe, for example. And we'll kind of analyze the different ways that authors approach endings. And metaphorically, right, as we kind of collect all these examples of the different ways that authors and writers end things, I like to sort them out, right? Why would we end something on a cliffhanger? What does a cliffhanger suggest about the future? Do we end with something very final, like a death? And then there, I think, are a lot of examples where the ending is open-ended. Weddings, right? Like even endings that show us 5 years later when we get to actually see a little bit of an epilogue. And those are another whole other way of looking at endings. And so we kind of take all those examples. This is very casual, by the way. It's not that serious. And I've kind of rolled that all into an end of the year seminar. I've rolled that into an end of the year mini project where students write their own last line to this school year. And they get to kind of choose, like the mood of what it's going to be. Like, are we saying, this is the end, I am so done with 10th grade? Or is it kind of more open-ended? Is there a cliffhanger, like it's mysterious what's in the future? So we've done something like that. There are all kinds of fun things you can do, or you can just vote on your favorite and display it on the wall for the last week of your class together. So that's a really fun one. I can link for you what I've done before in the show notes. Another one that I've done before and I really like is a writing one where we count down by writing a sentence, like it's a continuous story. So the premise that we give students is the same, right? So Sarah and Jose are going on vacation this summer, and then we give them like a problem. And so then every day we count down to the end of the year. I draw out of a bag a handful of words, just vocabulary words. Some of them are conceptual, some of them are just beautiful words. And the students have to continue the story using those words. So we all have the same first sentence, we all have the same premise, but then individually, this is like our warm up. Students have to write one more sentence, or if your students can handle it, you can do a time limit. They have to write 2 minutes of the next part of the story. And so little by little for the last, 20 days, we basically write an entire story, and that by the end, everyone's story is completely different. It's a great opportunity for jigsaw, or if you have good weather, to like go outside and share your stories. It's really fun, unifying like way to have everyone come together at the end and just have fun. It's light, but it's also deeply rooted in the academics that you've been doing all year. So you're not really drifting too far, but the kids definitely feel like it's way more fun than it is academic. So those are really, really great. And then, like I shared last week, one thing that I am going to be trying this year with my younger kids, but I've designed for older kids, is to do a literary awards ceremony where the students vote on their favorite moments or characters or things that are award worthy throughout the year. So for example, one of the awards I want to give students to use is the Main Character Energy Award, the award for the most compelling or over the top protagonist, or the Best Glow Up Award for the character with the most significant positive growth. There's another award I thought would be fun called the I Can Fix Them Award for the character who was clearly a disaster, but the reader kept really rooting for anyway. I thought it'd be kind of fun too to have a few that were based on more like plot and conflict. So what about one called the Emotional Damage Award? This is for the scene or chapter that left the class most devastated. Couple more ideas I had. The Worst First Impression Award for the story that started slow but ended up being a favorite. Which of your short stories, full-length novels, maybe you did a film study, what gets that one? And I got tons. I got almost 30. I got to slow down here, guys. What about the Playlist Worthy Award? So the award for the story with the strongest vibe or aesthetic worthy of a playlist. I don't know. I love thinking about it. Maybe even one that's like the I Need a Sequel Award for the story that felt like it ended way too soon and it was a little unfinished business. I love that idea. So if you're looking for an awards ceremony, I'm sharing this with you now because these require planning. So if you have some things on your want list, even things as simple as having an end of the year reflection, I want you to know on your little chart here in the notes that you're taking, what is worthy and necessary to go on your calendar right now. Like you would put it in Sharpie, it has to happen. And then these other fun things that you want or you like, I want you to make them happen, but they're not going to happen unless you schedule them and think through how many days they're going to take and what version of them is going to make sense for your students. So, end of the year, work with real numbers of days, make your list of your musts, make a list of your wants, and then start to fill in the pieces and only choose what you actually are going to have time for. That is the killer at the end of the year, is that we think we have more time because we're working in the abstract rather than in the concrete. And then we are really disappointed when we try too many things or we think we can fit something in at another time and then reality sets in and we can't. So I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their week. I hope this was a helpful team meeting. I look forward to speaking with all of you and checking in with Marie very soon as she's kind of recovering from show stuff. Thank you all for being here, and I hope you have a wonderful week at school. Bye-bye. Thanks again for listening to Brave New Teaching.
We'd love to keep the conversation going over on Instagram.
And while you're there, check out the links in our bio for the most up-to-date events going on in Happy Hour and the Brave New Teaching community.
Thanks for being here and have a great week at school.